Hello, everyone. We are.
Hi.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say hi.
Hi. So we are live. We are talking today. We're doing a Q&A about Kickstarter as part of our launch. So we actually, if you don't know already, the Kickstarter Accelerator is available now. The card is open. We will be open until September 5th. So today we're just doing a Q&A. And if you so you can ask a question now. So all you have to do is add a comment below on Facebook or on YouTube or Twitch or wherever it is. It should show up for us, and we will pull it up on screen and we will answer it. But if you haven't caught up, this is something to do after our stream. If you haven't caught up on some of our new webinars that we recently recorded about Kickstarter, they are also free for just a couple more days. And so you can go to kickstartyournovel.com /replay to see both of those. So make sure you put that on your calendar as well if you haven't done so already. Otherwise, is there anything else that we should announce?
I
Talk
don't think
about?
so. So the one thing that you definitely want to look into if you haven't yet is our direct sales accelerator, which is the upgrade. So like the Kickstarter accelerator is sort of part one of our system, and then we have the incubator and then the direct sales accelerator. So you definitely while you're looking at there, take a little bit of time to check out the direct sales accelerator. It's never going to be cheaper than the $200 add-on that it is right now. Plus, you get $3,000 of bonus courses. So yeah, we're super excited. Kickstartyournovel.com /buy. I'm sorry for the glasses. I still had LASIK a couple weeks ago, so I'm trying to keep the light to a minimum when I can.
Yeah, and we
Uh,
haven't. Yeah, so yeah, we haven't talked as much about this. I just want to go through it a little bit. So basically, if you get the Kickstarter Accelerator, it's, within this promotion, so it's the cheapest it'll ever be at $800. But then you can also add for $200 more. So the Direct Sales Accelerator, it's currently in beta. You really can't get into it unless you're already a student of our programs or unless you join like this basically in the next couple days, so until September 5th. But what it does is that it's going to be 6 weeks of group coaching calls. So Russell and I, we both have premium pricing for that. So it's about $600 per hour if you were to just do a call with either of with the two of us together. But we'll be doing 6 weeks of this. It's probably not going to be an hour call. It'll probably be a 2-hour call, most likely. And we're going to cover website sales, constructing sales funnels, convention sales, building and onboarding your email list, running ads and ad sequences to your offers, and then scaling your audience. And then I'm sure we'll talk about more. And during these group coaching calls, the nice thing is that you can do a hot seat. So if you want to like pull up your website and talk about it, we can, offer some feedback, and we can, maybe help with your strategy as well. So there's a lot of great stuff about these coaching calls. I think I priced this out, and with the 2 hours, with like what our normal pricing is, it was like a $7,200 value. So it's a little different because it's group coaching, but I personally think that group coaching is even more powerful a lot of the time, because you can attend even if you don't have something set up already. You can definitely just kind of listen in and eavesdrop on what's going on there. So then the second thing is we're doing group mentorship through Circle. So it's not basically it's like a chat similar to like a Facebook group, and we'll be chatting pretty regularly in there, I think, and looking at people's websites and like talking about like their offers. That's kind of a big thing we want to talk about, is like how you can do better offers for direct sales. And so then we'll also share, detailed lessons from our own campaigns. We don't typically post that publicly. And then, like Russell was saying, the archive of our self-study courses, it includes a ton of, like, all his best courses, his most popular courses, also basically all my best courses and most popular courses. So it covers like sales, ads, running viral builders, mindset, book launches, copywriting, list building. Like it just covers kind of all these things around sales and marketing. And yeah, again, we sold it, we sell those courses individually. When you add them up, it's about $3,000. And then, once you're in the direct sales accelerator, you will get to stay in. There are no monthly fees, there are no annual fees. And then everybody in the group is really like ready to do direct sales. And direct sales, it's not as popular in the author community yet, but we expect it to kind of start to explode in 2024. So you'll be ahead of the curve on that. And again, if you want to see this, it's at kickstartyournovel.com/buy. So you can read more about it. And if you're interested, you can sign up. There's also a payment plan. So if you want to do the Kickstarter Accelerator and the Direct Sales Accelerator, it's $9.99, or the payment plan is $3.49 for 3 months.
Yeah, and we're also doing a couple of months of additional just hot seat calls to begin. I think we decided it's one in September, one in October, which is going to not be inclusive of the 6 calls. So we're going to do 6 focus calls and then 2 kind of general calls. We may even have a very special call at 20 books in person as well.
Right.
So yeah, there's a whole lot of real, like, really, really, really valuable stuff. We are absolutely over delivering for the $200 price. So here is a great question. Here's a great thing that someone said. I actually have the infrastructure for direct sales in place, WooCommerce plus BookFunnel. I just need a way to decently automate any print orders. Well, I mean, I'll give you that you can either use Lulu or BookVault for those two. But like user, I don't know I can't see your name, but like Facebook user, that's only like 5% of direct sales. Like having a website is like 5% of it. The 95% of it is constructing offers, running ads, doing promotions, constructing all of the infrastructure underneath it. Like if you only have a WooCommerce store and BookFunnel, and don't get me wrong, BookFunnel's great. And like we use, and WooCommerce is good. Like I personally use Thrivecart, but like really direct sales has been equated to starting a Shopify store for so long. And like, it's just, that's almost none of it. Like, I mean, you can have a thriving direct sales business without ever having a website even, but like you can't have it
like
without
a
doing these other things. Yeah. Without having a storefront, but like,
yeah, we definitely take you back to the fundamentals. And what Russell's talking about, we actually have a whole like mini course on direct sales special offers that we are going to drop into the program in the next, like basically in the next day or two. So when you join, you'll pretty much immediately have access to our direct sales workshop that we did during our Kickstarter campaign last, and 8 more videos that are specific to direct sales. So it kind of makes sense to join it now, because you can get started like pretty much right away talking about specifically about special offers, like what Russell is talking about. And so you'll start to get into the mindset of it. And then you'll have like, you get immediate access to all these other courses as well that are more like you can take them, but they're also like supplementary material. So if we're like, oh, you got to go build your email list. Well, and you're like, how do I do that? It's like, oh, we actually have like a whole like course, like we have like 9 videos on how to better build your email list. And so we already have that there for you too. So when you join this, you get access to kind of all of that right away, and you'll get access to the community and circle. So it's a really like immediately it pays off, but then like you get to stay in it for so long, and like eventually it'll probably be similar to our Kickstarter Accelerator, where the price goes up like quite a bit. So for newer members,
quite a bit.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
yeah.
And we raised the price like in full integrity of like, we know that we can deliver like $1,000 when you do your first like special offer, basically. Like we're like, we only raise the price when we're like, we know like our superstars are gonna 10x the price of the program within like their first effort at this, and then like our medium people are going to like 3 to 5x, and then our person who's maybe, like they're starting out or they've got a small audience or whatever, they're going to at least make back their money or like be very close to making back their money on their first effort. So that's like when we raise the price. So since we don't have the program fully done yet, we're not ready to raise that price. But like the only way we've raised our price in the Kickstarter Accelerator is because the campaigns coming out of it, first time campaigns, are hitting like 3 to 5K average. So it's like to invest $1,000 to hit a 3 to 5K average, like that is just kind of a no brainer.
I
So
think we
that's
looked at
yeah,
I did the average last time, and I think the average of just Kickstarter students, not all of the campaigns, because we have some experts in there too, was something
yeah,
like $4,600. So, like,
right.
that's like obviously there are some at the very high end and some on the lower end, but like the average is almost $5,000. And yeah, I
And I
mean,
think our very lowest is like maybe $800, or like maybe it's like as low, maybe it's like 600. I don't quite know, but like yeah, there our lowest is like still more than the cost of what it was before. So
yeah. Okay.
I do know
Marissa
that.
has a
Yeah.
question on YouTube. She says, "Is there a starter place to research?" Absolutely. We have a podcast called Kickstart Your Book Sales. We also do a live stream right here on this channel, wherever you're watching it, every week. Well, most weeks. Some weeks it will be the two of us because we're traveling a lot for the next 2 months. But usually we have a weekly live stream right here at 11:30 Pacific, 1:30 Central Time. And then we also have a book called Get Your Book Selling on Kickstarter, which you can get on any retailer. And like,
Yeah, I have it right here.
it's a big, like 400-page
Oh.
book, which explains a whole lot of this system as well. So, and then we do have a payment plan usually for the for a 12-month payment plan. We're not doing it this time. We're doing a 3-pay this time because because we're going to also be at 20 books, and we're going to be
Yeah.
at RAM in November. So we're going to be doing a lot of things here. Monica will be at NINC. I'll also be doing speaking events at the Digital Author Conference that Gloz does in October. We'll be at the Author Tech Summit that Indie Author Magazine is doing in September. We have a big webinar with Brian Cohen in September as well. And we have just literally dozens of potential of other things. But one thing that I would ask is, because this happens a lot, of like, what comes first, like the course or like the buying the course or the doing the Kickstarter. Most Kickstarters that we see that don't use the course, their average is somewhere between $500 and $1,000. So like if our average is somewhere between $4,000 and $6,000, then like you're going to be repaying the course with the first Kickstarter that you do. So I'm not saying what to do. What I am saying is there's absolutely a case to be made for, and people have done this before, literally signed up for the Kickstarter course either while they were running a campaign or they were about to run a campaign, implemented the stuff, doubled or tripled the cost of the course with the first campaign, and then repaid it. Like, I mean, I don't like running a balance on credit cards, so like I totally get all of those things. But if you already had the plan to run a campaign, I think it's a very good investment. If for no other reason than you have a huge supportive network of other creators who are going to be there helping you. And you have a book vault with a whole bunch of books that you can use for your own campaigns. And then you have all of our strategies that help you maximize the campaign that we've learned even since writing the book. So like a book is a static thing that we wrote 2000 and end of 2021, and we've had a whole year to learn new things. We haven't been able to do a second edition because Monica's writing like 20 new books for her for the series and a whole
Like
bunch of
five.
stuff.
But yeah. Yeah, we've learned so much in the last year because we have like 100 campaigns in the program at least that have a ton of data. So we've learned a lot from our people, but then we've also hit our own personal bests. Like Russell hit his own personal best with the Cthulhu is Hard to Spell campaign, and then hit it again with our Go Wide Grow Wide incubator. So like literally in March, he hit over 40K for the first time, and then or in August he hit 40K again, or like a little bit more. So we're also kind of expanding our ability to do like those bigger campaigns. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
All right. So
All right. We
Marissa
wanna.
has a couple of follow-up
Oh,
questions here.
sure. Yeah.
Um, I wanted to go to Kickstarter and start learning the platform. We're wanting to start encourage people to pledge. Well, a couple of things, Marissa. If you are a romance author, like we are going to be doing a slamming promo in February for romance authors for our accelerator students. So we have a whole special thing just for romance authors that is coming up. If you are that person, you should absolutely 100% consider doing it, because in February we're trying to get 100 authors to launch projects during that month, so that we can do a whole bunch of like special promotions and things. So that's one. One thing that we're doing to help encourage people to pledge is we're going to have a bunch of people, like all other people that you can do cross promotions with, which is a thing that Kickstarter is not great with romance, unless you're doing paranormal romance, especially sweet romance. But we are trying to fix that. The biggest thing that you need to do to encourage people to pledge really is have a special Kickstarter package for them, and we show you how to do special offers in both the Kickstarter Accelerator and the Direct Sales Accelerator. So like we actually teach you how to make a package that is going to be enticing to someone to pledge and get them off of, because especially for romance authors, like almost all of them are exclusive to KU. Those that aren't are not doing a lot of direct sales, they're doing retailer sales. So we do a lot to show you how to construct an offer that will get them off of the platform that they're working on and become a super fan of yours and backing where you have. And, it's one of those things where you don't necessarily need a ton of people. For instance, that campaign that Monica said raised $40,000. How many people backed that campaign?
Yeah, it was 366. So the average pledge was $115 in the end. So it was, yeah, I would say, you don't need a ton of people. Now that would, I mean, that was a very optimized campaign. But yeah, I think that you can, even some of, like, I think Russell, like, you have one campaign that's ever gone over 1,000 backers. But
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
every other one is closer to like between, like, some of them are only like 300 backers, and then some of them I think sometimes they land in like the 600 to 700 backer range, especially on the comic side. But the novel ones are usually like the 300 to 400 range, I
The
think.
last time we did it, the last new book series I launched was $12,000 from 375 backers, or around 375. When I did my novel campaign that raised $15,000, I think it was from like 260 backers. So that's the different mindset. Like what people worry about is like, how do I get all 10,000 people who buy my book to like go and read my book, buy my book on Kickstarter? And like, you won't. What you're going to get is your super fans who are like, wow. Like we do a lot. We work with Mal Cooper, and Mal Cooper is doing an anniversary book for 10 years since her Out System book released. And like, she's got something like $17,000 close to from like 350 backers, or maybe not even that.
Right.
Yeah, so her campaign, $16,974, 161 backers. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna try and share my screen.
Oh yeah.
I'll share this screen. All right, are you seeing this? So this is 161 people. So that's a huge ROI. And what we do in the program is really focus very heavily on how do you extract the most value from your most ardent fans. Ooh, I don't like that word extract. Like that's not a good word. That doesn't sit well with me. How do you encourage your biggest and best fans to like spend money buying your coolest products. So for instance, this is my campaign. Notice Mal has half of the backers that I have and almost the same amount of money. And so she also has a considerably more ardent fan base than I do and a bigger fan base than I do to pull from. But like now our goal is how do we take what her number is now and make it this number and basically double everything for the next campaign. But
Right.
you need a you need uh, a very good offer. Basically, is the biggest thing that you need. And now I'm back here. I can stop sharing. There we go. Stop sharing. So that's the biggest difference I think that people think about is like the coolest thing about Kickstarter is you can design a package that's like a book box, for instance, and you have like a special edition cover of the book with like maybe some extra fillery or something inside of it, extra bonus scenes. Maybe you do an omnibus, maybe you do a hardcover, you do pins and bookmarks and prints and other things that like your fans have been asking for forever, probably if you have 8 books out. And that draws them to want to support you on the other platform because like it's something they can just never get anywhere else. Our books, for instance, all of our hardcover books are exclusive to Kickstarter. Like they only come out on Kickstarter. So yeah. And our softcover books generally have a year between when they come out on Kickstarter and when I put them out in the open market.
All right. So another question from an anonymous Facebook user. I'm at the same place as Deanna. RE Direct Sales. I have a website up, but only one book and not much of a funnel or ability to provide a compelling offer. What say you, Russell?
I say we have a lot of people who have success with one book, and your ability to provide a compelling offer is really bound by your own mental thinking. So with one book, for instance, you can self-narrate your own audiobook if you don't have money for an audiobook, because this is your series. So like you can self-narrate it for like your biggest fans. Like they probably would love to hear you like narrate your book, especially if it's third person. You can do an audio commentary. You can make a special edition pin or special edition print or special edition cover. You can bind them all together in like a special edition box. You can do all sorts of things that that becomes more compelling even when to run ads to, because now you're not trying to run ads to a 99-cent book. You're trying to run ads to a $50 package. Now you can say, hey, every month, if you buy this book, you can come in and you can get a short story in this universe. Like there's all these things that you can do to make the offer compelling, even at one book. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. Having 20 books is way more compelling an offer, but you can compel somebody to buy one book. And I know because I on Kickstarter have very often done, and in direct sales as well, done one book that I had the ability to do. What say you, Monica?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it really comes down to like you have to create a bundle that is valuable enough to where you're able to profit through like whatever traffic you send. So that could be advertising, but it's also like once you have a website offer, you can do stuff on Pinterest, you can do stuff on Tumblr and Twitter and like SEO and all sorts of stuff to like be sending traffic to that offer until you get that. We call them like information pages or sales pages, and you can see, I mean, we have one up right now, kickstartyournovel.com/buy. So if you want to go to that one, you can see like what the information page / sales page looks like. But it basically walks people through like what you're offering, and then gives them the link to buy it, and then on the back end you have a distribution. So you really only need those 3 things. And the thing that we see the most, like again, we have this 8 video series about direct sales special offers. Like, how do you just set up like one offer that's like time limited? And there are 4 videos on the offer part. So like half the content is on the offer, and then the other content is on like how you market and promote the offer. But it's like, half the content is on like how do you even design the offer. And I think that's where both Russell and uh, I think that's kind of like more of an area of genius for us, is that we'll teach you how to do a great offer, and then the rest of the stuff falls into place, because you're not sending traffic to something that doesn't convert. Basically, you're not sending traffic to something that isn't profitable, because and so a lot of this is, we teach it in the Kickstarter Accelerator, and if you don't want to deal with tech, then Kickstarter might be the best way to go for something like that, for a solo book, to get your feet wet with it. And if you are okay with tech, then you could try a special offer through direct sales as well.
And so I'll just show you one that I
Yeah.
did for a book. Now, granted, the upsell on this was more books, but this is called a free plus shipping offer. You get the book plus shipping for this is a print thing. It raised me over $2,000, including, and what's all was said and done, over $600 of profit from over 100 sales from offering this book for free and then upselling people to other books. Now, again, I know you only have one book, but this is just one opportunity that you have to sell and this is how sort of a Kickstarter book looks, like an offer would look. Like, you have some testimonials from ardent fans. You have some, and like, this is not very long, and it raised me over $2,000. So like, this is just one very small offer that in a world of where you can make hundreds of different offers. And that is the big limiting factor of people that say just set up a Shopify store. Because like,
Right.
honestly, when you have a Shopify store, you are now directly competing with Amazon. And who do you think is going to win that battle? Like, do you think you're going to win the battle, or the person that spent $1 trillion optimizing their website is going to win that battle? Like, it's going to be the person who spent $1 billion, $1 trillion. They're going to win that battle if you're converting. Not that you can't sell from your website, but like, where you can win,
right,
is create something that is powerful enough that they can't do. Like, they don't, like, they're not going to offer unless you do like, and almost nobody does this, where it's like a book and a pin and a sleeping bag or something, some crochet that you did. If you have one book, you could offer, what was it that Jim did? He did like
oh, he
like
has a
handwritten, like, it was like a hand, he did like a handwritten thing, and then he copied it, and then he like tea stained it so that it like looked old, right? There was something like that.
Oh,
Like,
that might have been somebody in our group. I don't know if
maybe.
that was Jim or if that was like a guy in our group who does like horror. So yeah, yeah, exactly. So like, one is that you're competing with Amazon. I mean, the other thing is like, which is like a totally ridiculous notion. So like, whenever we tell people that, it's like, oh yeah, like, I've just like kind of replicated what Amazon does on my store, and like, it's like, well, yeah, like, I can't compete with Amazon. So that's kind of one thing. But then the other one is that it's just kind of like makes mathematical sense that one offer, one audience, one focus would be better for you than like having 40 products in the store and like trying to sell them all at once. And we see that happen a lot. And like, when you look at like actual retailers, like not Amazon, but let's say like Ann Taylor, or like yeah, I don't know, like what's Sephora, or like,
Sure.
Macy's or somebody like that. It's like, the other thing you'll notice about them is that they send an email every single day. Like, if you've ever bought anything from an online store, they will send you an email every single day. They have promotions every single day, especially in like clothing or makeup retail. It's like every weekend there's a new promotion. Every like day there's a promotion. They have like items on sale. They have, and like, that's kind of what authors are probably going to need to do realistically, to make a like full on Shopify or website store work. So like, why would you start there in some ways? Because or like you can have that store up, but like, take some of those items, bundle them, and do the special offer to get your direct sales started. That's what we've both done. Like we've never, like even though we had a store basically, or I had a store, and we did sell our series direct. We basically made it like a single offer still. And then
Yeah.
like, yeah, there were like some additional sales of like add-ons in the cart and stuff, but like we had a single offer. And that's kind of how we've done direct sales. That's how I feel like everybody does direct sales. But yeah.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing: is like, okay, so the way that that like you can win, I think I think we have shown pretty definitively that like the way you win is by not competing against Amazon, doing the thing Amazon wants. But the thing is, Amazon is only offering, they only have the ability to do one offer. They can only do the one thing. Like if you want the book, cool. I guess if you want the series, cool. Otherwise, you've got to go to the 100 places to pull things correctly from places. They don't do really artisanal stuff. So like there's all these leverage points that you could make 30 offers and see which one sticks. And like maybe for instance, you have one book, maybe like you can't run ads profitably to one book, which is a thing. But
Right.
like you could run ads profitably to like a letter of, let's say you write Regency romance, like, and you like, I'm gonna send you a letter from the main character of this book, like the main love interest from this book. I'm gonna send you a letter every month, and it's gonna cost you $100, but you're going to get a letter from this person every month as if he was writing to the love of his life. I don't know, like,
Yeah.
well,
No,
who can't?
I actually subscribe to one of those. It's like $15 a month. I get 4 letters in the mail every like one a week, and it is like probably 1,000 words. So I'm literally paying $15 for basically like 5,000 words of story told through letters. But like I love it. Like it's so fun, and I get excited to receive it. So yeah, there are definitely ways that you
Yeah,
can like style your work to just do more. Um,
absolutely. Like you have
there's
a mystery box, you can do like mystery, like you could do like a mystery of the months that you're planning that maybe won't make it into a full book. There's all of these things you can do is the long story short of it. Moana has a question that didn't make it into the chat, which is when do the 6 weeks start for the direct sales accelerator? We decided that it's going to start in December. It's going to start in December because we're just too busy with all the accelerator launches and prepping for the next 2 things that we have to do and being on vacation. But what we're going to do is September, October, and at something in November, we're going to have a live like hot seat call where you can come and ask your questions about anything. So it will be much less focused than what we're going to do in December, but you will have the chance to ask your questions before then.
Yeah, and just to be clear, like the content is there now, so you can go and do like all of our programs as you prep. We also have, like I said, the direct sales special offer, like the 8-video mini course. We also have the direct sales workshop, and all of that will be posted. And then we have the community that is going to start now. So we're going to be sharing stuff as we go along in that community. We'll be answering questions there. We'll be talking through challenges that people are having there. So it's a really light, like we're taking it really lightly for the first couple months as we kind of feel stuff out, and like as y'all kind of fill stuff out. And then we're, after the conferences, we'll be doing, the more intensive, like six weeks of coaching calls, and probably realistically those 6 weeks of coaching calls are going to be like one every 2 weeks. So it's going to get like very intense starting in December. And then
Yeah,
we'll
and
have we'll have a Kickstarter going then, and all sorts of
yeah.
stuff. But
Yeah, and they'll probably have something to do with like there may be ones where we like pack down your website and we're like, this website needs to do these 8 things. And then we'll do another one that's like, did you do said 8 things? And like, we can see the before and after. Like, we're not quite sure. That's why it's so great to get in now, because you're going to help design the program. You're going to help design what we do. And you're going to be able to, like, if you really want us to talk about, I'll give you an example. Convention sales is always the least interesting topic to people. Like, not interesting as in like exciting. Maybe that's a better word. Like, generally people don't care about convention sales whenever we talk about it. But we talked to someone who wanted to come into the accelerator, and they specifically asked about convention sales. We were like, oh, well, yeah, like if you want us to talk about convention sales, we can absolutely do that. So those are the kinds of things you're going to also be able to do in the direct sales accelerator.
I have a question that was not posted online as well. So this is from a current student, and they are asking, is it just through the Kickstarter accelerator that you can do this upgrade, or if you're already a student, is there like an a la carte option? So yes, there's an a la carte option upgrade for just our students, and so we'll post that information again in our student groups, just so you know. But if you add it on to the Kickstarter accelerator right now, it's a $200 upgrade. If you are upgrading from one of our programs, it's a $300 upgrade. So just because of, well, I don't know why we decided that, but it's a $300 upgrade for students.
I do. Because
you do? Okay, good.
The people that bought previously paid a maximum of $500,
right?
And these people are paying a maximum of $800. $800. So like they're paying more. So we wanted to give them a discount, and we also wanted it to be $1,000. And we thought $1,000 just sounded better than $1,100. So
right, yeah.
But that's the justification behind why we did it. We were like, oh, these people didn't like, and when you bundle things together at the same time, you make
bundling and stuff like that. So yes, you can grab it. I would say like we have almost 40 people in it now, from like previous students plus current Kickstarter people, and we're pretty excited about that. So because again, this program's in beta, you really can't you cannot get into it without being in one of our other programs first, whether you sign up now for the program or you are in the programs. But we have a lot of people in it already. And again, it closes September 5th. So I'm assuming we're going to get like more people in it. So it's already going to be, I say that not as like, we're not trying to like brag about that. I say that because it's like, well, the community is going to be like 40 to 50 people who are already in this program in beta. And then, we'll add more people in November. We're
hoping to have 100 people by the end of November.
Yeah,
that's our hope. Like,
I would be surprised if it was not more, but we would like to. It'd be great to have 100 people in it, but and then we'll add more people in, I guess, in March as well. Yeah. And so then after that, then the price is like changing, and but that's kind of the timeline for us, and that's also when you can really expect that, like, we also hope by the end of March, like, the content is really solid, and we have, we're getting our students' results in the program already, to where they're like definitely paying back their investment, but also to where they're just really seeing great results from it.
Yeah, I'm definitely there with you as well. And we talked a lot about, that's the most we talked about the direct sales accelerator.
Yeah, we didn't mean to, but yeah.
Well, and I'll tell you flat out, like, it will not be less than $1,000 after March of next year. Like, it just won't. Like, it might be more than that depending on the stuff that we get, but like, it won't be less than $1,000 when we relaunch it after that. And but hopefully we'll be able to get, I don't have to say hopefully, we're going to start getting people results. And then, as you know, if you're part of the accelerator, you'll know that course started at 5 hours and is now 35 or so hours, because we keep recording more as people have more questions. Just recorded another one like last week because someone asked a very specific question, and I was like, I'm just going to pull this out into its own video. So you'll be able to have that exact same kind of experience. And I think there's going to be more support for the direct sales accelerator, because there's also 12 courses that go along with it that deal with everything from productivity to building. I think I'm going to rename Build a Rabid Fanbase to Build a Super Fandom, because like
Yeah,
it's just
that's
like
what
is a
it
better
is. Yeah.
name. It's
Hmm.
building a super fandom, and Facebook ads and the whole rigmarole of basically everything that Monica and I have done in our career that is related to direct sales, inclusive of Kickstarter. But the people that are in both, the reason that we want you to be in one of our other programs, and preferably both of our other programs, is because we're going to be referencing the other like the stuff that we do in the other programs are going to be are going to be you're going to know how to utilize things like your value stack more when you are in like one of the other programs, and
Yeah.
they kind of train you to do the other things, especially the Kickstarter one. But I think the wide one does too, because the wide one is a lot about optimization, and
Hmm.
optimization is like critical to doing offers. So like
Right.
if you learn how to create a sales page and then how to optimize things properly, then you're going to really be able to unlock kind of the two most important buttons that come with direct sales.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And you know, we want to. Well, everything Russell said, I really don't have anything to add to it. So, but that is why we want you to be in our other programs, and also just as like kind of a bonus for people who are in our programs, to
And
like get in again early.
yeah, Moana says, I wanted to make sure the schedule allowed me to engage live in the coaching calls. We want that too. And, you know, I think we're pretty personable. Like, we're right here to answer questions. And, like, we're happy to answer your questions right here to show you what our coaching calls are like. But if you want to know what our coaching calls are like, you're in one right now, kind of. Because,
Well,
um,
and I think Moana, because you live in a pretty far off time zone, so maybe that's what she means by that.
well, she,
So that
yeah.
it's not gonna be at night, you know, where it's like, or sorry, it's not gonna be like in the morning at like 9 a.m. where she's still like very
Well,
much asleep, I'm sure.
so everywhere in the U.S., I think Moana's in D.C. Monica is
Oh,
in the middle of the country, and then
oh,
I
I
am
thought she
in the.
was in Hawaii.
No,
Sorry.
she just talks about Hawaii a lot. So
Gotcha.
it's, and we're gonna probably pick different times of the day as we go, so that people can be everywhere. We have to see. But one of the great things also about joining early is like we're gonna be saying what is the best time frame for people, and then we'll probably be using that going forward. It'll probably be one time that's like convenient for people in the US, in the West Coast and East Coast, and maybe doing one that is convenient for people
Okay.
that are on
Yeah.
in Europe as well, or in Asia or somewhere like that. Probably less so Asia, I'm sorry, but like we probably will not be doing 3 a.m. coaching calls,
Right.
I would imagine.
Yeah, but I am thinking of like Australia, New Zealand, because
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
same area. So
And Nick asks, can we email our questions to you ahead of time? 100%. We would love to answer questions ahead of time and prep for it. We'll probably do a call for like a comment for like questions as well, because then we can use that to build, you know, build out whatever we need to talk
right.
about in the platform. But yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, and I think like at any time in the direct sales accelerator, you should not wait for the coaching call. You should actually just ask the question in the community, because when we get that question, you know, probably other people have that question, and it would be good for us to record like a separate video about it too, just about the general concept that we can then put in the program. So definitely, we are looking for your questions at like all stages of the program.
For all of our programs, but really for this
Yes, for all
direct
of our.
sales one. Because here's the thing with direct sales: A, there's like 100 courses that you could take on direct sales, and B, there's like 1,000 ways you can make direct sales successful for you.
Right.
So like, and that's, can't believe we're talking so much about the direct sales accelerator, but like the thing I think that makes our this program special, both of the programs special, but really the direct sales one special, is that we acknowledge from the outset that like there's no one-step solution. There's no one, like I had huge success direct sales on Kickstarter and conventions. Monica's had great success on her website in doing offers and doing online sales. And so we've kind of combined. We couldn't be in some ways more different with how we've made our money, but they both are significantly attributed to direct sales. So we are going to try our best to say, here is how you would do this on Shopify or WooCommerce or whatever. And then here is how you do this, like if you were doing conventions. And a lot of the cool things about offers, for instance, the thing that we're doing next month is you can bring an offer to a convention. You can do a bundle at a convention and it will work. And can do it on Kickstarter and it will work. You can do it in a one-time limited time offer and it will work. You can do it running ads and it will work. So like a lot of this, and a lot of my career, if you follow my particular career at all, Monica's too, I think, but I'll let her speak to that. But my career is about finding the foundational bedrock principles of sales and marketing that undergird all of this stuff. So it's never been about, I guess it is technically about Kickstarter right now, but like it's really about what are the fundamental ways of online marketing that make Kickstarter work, that make Patreon work, that make all of these things work across this thing. Because I think that courses in general do a very good job of telling you how to exploit a particular platform, but they do a very bad job of explaining why that exploitation works in the grand scheme so that you can universalize it. Monica, you want to add?
I mean, you covered a lot. So yeah, like I agree with exactly what Russell said. Like both of us have taken like who even knows how many courses on internet marketing and sales. And when we talk about things, you'll always like we don't even realize. So we're like very much on the same page about all of this. But when we look at a platform, we're always just like, not that, and we just see like some of the stuff that like the conversation on direct sales. It is very much like WooCommerce or Shopify. Like that's probably the most popular question on direct sales. And like we just don't think like that at all. Like we don't think about like direct sales as like I'm trying to decide between WooCommerce, Shopify, and PayHip. Like that question isn't even. I never want to say a question is not a good question because it's not that. But it's like a very surface level question. And the questions that we ask and then like answer for ourselves are like so much deeper than that. And we'll sometimes talk about those like very surface level questions, but we're going to push you to go way deeper so that you really understand these principles. And so you can build the business that you want basically on any platform. Like you should be able, and this is something, Kickstarter, our course on Kickstarter, it is a sales and marketing course wrapped up in a Kickstarter bow. Basically, we put a little, lipstick on, like Kickstarter lipstick on our sales and marketing. But like, if we wash that lipstick off, you will find sales and marketing underneath. And that's why we want you to be able to connect all of that to the direct sales stuff, rather than think of it as like this different thing, because that's what we're doing. That's what we're teaching you. And so like, we want to empower you to the point where like you can build really anything you want because you understand the sales and marketing kind of at the level that I don't want to toot our own horns too much, but like we go very deep with these topics, and because we like them and we're passionate about it. So we want you to understand it at the same level as us. And I think in the Kickstarter Accelerator, we see a lot of people now who really understand sales and marketing at like a very different level than they did when they came in.
Yeah, and for people that are wondering if they should join or like maybe they're not going to run a Kickstarter in a while, like these two courses are like will show you how to expand your view. So I feel like most author marketing is passive. It's like BookBub has to say yes to my offer before I can do a stack for it. Or like Amazon has to lower my price to free before I can like make this a free first in series. Or like X, Y, and Z has to happen. And what we're really trying to show you in this, and like I'm not saying anyone's wrong for teaching that way, because like that is necessary to run Amazon ads successfully. Like there's a lot of things that have to happen. And there's a lot of things that like, wow, your ads are starting to dip down. Well, if you don't have a pool of new ad terms, like what do? You're just like, well, I guess that book is dead now.
It's like a very disempowered
Yes.
business model is really what it is. Whereas, are you going to go into money on demand?
I was gonna say, like, what we
Let's
want
do
to do is try and make
it.
it active. We want to make you an active participant and saying, for instance, I need to make 10 grand next month. Well, how do I do that? Well, here are the assets I have. I have one book in development. I have two books that are going to launch the next month. I could run a Kickstarter. I could take three of these backlist books and like make a new cover for them. I could run an offer with several of my friends for one thing, because like that's another thing you can do that you can't do on Amazon. You could just, you have one book. Guess what? If you have 5 friends, you've got 6 books. Like you could run an
Right.
offer to 6 books. Like you can run an offer for, like, let's say you again go back to romance. Like you could write like a pamper me like bundle. You could work with a person who makes bath salts and a person who makes a lotion and whatever like you could put together a thing of like artisanal things from your area that maybe aren't even on Amazon and say, let's do for 2 weeks, we're going to do this one offer and we'll all split like the profit of it or the revenue of it. And all of those things are things that like require active, like thinking about marketing in a different way. They require you to be active, and they allow you, don't just require you, they allow you to be active. They allow you to say, oh, this is fun. I want to go to Paris next month. Like, how do I like raise $5,000? Well, my books are already optimized because I'm in the incubator, and I already like run probably the maximum amount of ads that I can run there with that to optimize that money that in all of my platforms. So like, I'm going to do a book box. I'm going to go talk to my friends and say, for the next 6 months, can we like send you a book every month? Or like whatever the thing is, like you have so many more options to make money on demand when you're doing direct sales. And like, this is why I don't love the Shopify WooCommerce debate, because the truth is like, you could get a store and be fine. You could do store, like all of those things are like suboptimal, because you could
Right.
add all of the same information to any of those stores. The back ends are different. So like there is some functionality wise, there's difference between Shopify and WooCommerce for what you can do. But the reason why it's not a bad question, but it's a question that it's a low value question
Right.
because
Yeah.
it's missing
The
the forest
point.
for the
Yeah.
trees.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
like the forest is, wow, I can use this not just to load up my book, but I can use it to run any number of 100 offers anytime I want. And the only one that I'm able to run now is I can drop my price and do a sale for X amount of days.
On an ebook. Yeah. I mean, it's always like the case where, there's a challenging concept or like a blank slate. So then what people tend to talk about is tools. And sometimes people think as well that if I just had the right tools, I would be successful. But it's not really the software. It's not really the tools that are enabling you. It's like, it's your strategy.
Yeah.
So, and then that's what we're teaching is really the strategy. Like we can probably answer your WooCommerce versus Shopify question. I think we answer it in like multiple books that we have. So go read those or, like whatever. But yeah, we can answer that question, but we find the question, yeah, like I don't want to say, I guess it's kind of like boring to us because again, like Russell said, it's a low value question. Like it's not the point of
And it's not
like
low
what you're
value to
doing.
us. It's like low value to you.
Right,
That
right,
said,
right. Yeah.
how many hours did we spend debating Mighty Networks versus Circle? Like, I feel like we had this conversation for
We
weeks. Like, I
did
feel like it
because
was
we're
hours of
not
time.
we're not community builders though, so that's why. So we don't know the strategies for community building. So which
Yeah.
is like a
So,
different part of marketing.
right. And so we get that, like,
We
the
get
tech
it,
is
yeah.
important, but like, but yeah, I mean, it's really about, and so to go back to Kickstarter, um, like I did a lot to explain Kickstarter to Monica the first time, but she also intrinsically understood Kickstarter when I told her what to do, because she knew what marketing, she knew how to write a sales page, she knew the pieces that needed to go in place. So when I showed her, she was like, oh, it's like this and like this and like this and like this and like this. And oh, I'm going to pull this from here and this from here and this from here, because we had a holistic view. And like, I'm just going to say Amazon makes bad marketers, like, because it does so much work for you that, that like you have, like, if you do the work to exploit the system within the first couple of days of release, either the system will work and you will be able to successfully exploit it, or your launch will fail and you will not have been able to do the things that you wanted to do. Like very quickly,
like your book sinks, or like
like very quickly your book will float or sink.
Yeah,
Amazon.
That's Amazon.
Yeah, and then you're like, well, the thing that I do is I make another book, but like that's like. And the reason
so frustrated
that
by this,
the reason it makes bad marketers is because like there are a billion things to do to make that book successful. Like I sold the same 6 books for years, like because I just was able to sell them at conventions and online and through Kickstarter and other ways. Like I found other ways to make the books successful. And Monica had books that she made successful over the course of years, and usually it's a book that can withstand years. That's the one that people will talk about anyway.
Right.
So
and you're not saying like like anyone who uses Amazon is a bad marketer. It's really like, I mean, it's like it's just like where the indie author industry is at right now, and how the indie author industry uses Amazon and how they're kind of taught to use Amazon. It when you unpack it, it doesn't actually make a ton of sense to do it that way. But like, the reality is that you can jump very quick, like you can rise very quickly by like playing the algorithm game, and you can also fall very quickly playing the algorithm game. So ask like almost any like 6 or 7 figure author how much money they lose when they lose at the algorithm game too. So you can fall very, very quickly. We've all seen it. If you've been in this industry for more than 5 years, you've seen people like lose everything basically on Amazon after being the belle of the ball for a couple years. Basically,
I would almost say like it is nearly impossible to retain like a 7-figure authorship only on Amazon for more than 2 years. Either you will burn out.
I would say like 3 to 4 years, but exactly. Go ahead. Sorry.
Because like you'll burn out. Amazon will fall out of favor. The tropes that were very hot will not become hot. Like you'll stop hitting the tropes, or you'll just want to do something else. Like, so you'll probably have a good run. And like, look, hey, $4 million like is a pretty good. And you're not going to go from $1 million to like $5. Like you'll probably go from $1 million
you'll get to like
200, 300,000.
You'll land at like 2 or 300K,
which is still great. And they're like, I would love to have that, but like if you've made $100 million for 4 years and now you make 800,000 less than that, like you tend to grow to fill the needs of like the money that you make. So and we see it all the time. And I shouldn't say bad, like unsophisticated, which seems equally as bad.
Yeah, that's like just as like unkind of a word.
It does. Well, I guess I don't think that I don't think that the people are bad. I don't think the marketers are bad. I'm saying that it makes it, because of how Amazon works, it only utilizes about 5% of marketing. Like, and
as the author, you only need to know like 5 to 20% of like marketing, because Amazon fills in the gaps for you. So you can be a very successful author on Amazon and think that you are very good at marketing, and you are very good at marketing in that the skill set of the 5 to 20% skill set. But then when you leave Amazon, it becomes a reality check that is very painful, actually. And like I think I would say like anybody who's watched the industry like can see it. But Amazon, it just kind of like tricks you into thinking that like you have this covered almost, the marketing and sales stuff covered. And then when you leave, like sometimes you don't. Or not when you leave, but like, well, yeah, when you go wide or
direct sales.
or direct sales or whatever, it's kind of,
and
Yeah.
like it's there's a lot of things that don't work, for instance, on Amazon that work other places and vice versa. So and like so we're trying to fill in the other 80% because what we generally see is someone who goes from Amazon because like the principle is sound. The thing that you do on Amazon like works other places. It just doesn't the algorithm then doesn't kick in anywhere else except Amazon to do the rest of the work for you. Like there's no point in juicing $5,000-$10,000 of ads onto Kobo in the first 3 days because like there's nothing
Yeah,
there.
that's
Like there's
gonna
nothing to
right.
click on
Mm-hmm.
to do the rest of the work for you.
Right.
So you have to learn how to do marketing over the course of a month, and like you've got to learn how to
Yeah.
do offers, and you've got to do things even if you're going wide that you don't have to do when you're at Amazon. And like this is nothing against anyone that teaches this. I have to keep saying this because like it's nothing against anyone who uses these strategies. They friggin' work. Like they friggin' work, and they friggin' work great on Amazon.
Right.
But like there are other things. Like there's a finite amount of people who can win on Amazon. It's probably about
I would say it's
10,000
like
people max.
yeah, yeah, exactly. That's exactly the number I would come up with. Like it's probably like 10% of authors
Yes.
can win, and that's at any given time. So just because you're winning now, or just because you're not winning now, and that's like why people like it because it's like I can go from not winning to like really winning very quickly, and but then it's like the if you can rise quickly then you can definitely fall quickly too. And like you inevitably will eventually fall quickly.
Yes. And we
That's
and
the problem. Like there's like a 90 to 100% chance that you will fall by like a lot because you're over reliant on algorithms.
yes. And so to go back to Kickstarter and direct sales, a couple of things. First, way more people can win because they're now spending $50. People are spending $50 instead of 99 cents for your book. So you have more money to leverage for advertising if you want to do it. You need less people in order to win. And the playing field is much more equal because you can take one book or a standalone book and like make 10 grand with it. I know I did it. Like this whole thing started because I launched a Kickstarter for 4 standalone books, and Monica was like, "This should be impossible. How is this?"
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. I didn't forget about that, but I momentarily forgot about that campaign. But yeah, no, that was I was like, what is going on here? Like
Yeah,
it really was.
yeah, and it
Yeah.
like and so the playing field is just more equal because you need less people to make it work, to make being a mid-list author work for you. And
Yeah. And there's
yeah,
less competition. And so,
and
like, if Amazon was Kickstarter, like, yeah, there would still be, like, probably, like, maybe more people would be able to win because of the average per backer, but it would still be, like, there would still be a cap on that. So it's not that Kickstarter doesn't have a cap. It's
right.
that there's so little competition. And again, at any given moment, so like campaigns can only stay up for 60 days. So, like I'm not competing with Brandon Sanderson on my Kickstarter that if I had a Kickstarter running right now, or like Russell does have a Kickstarter running right now, he's not competing with Brandon Sanderson because Brandon Sanderson's not on the platform at the moment.
Or any of Brandon Sanderson's previous books, any of Stephen
Right.
King's previous books, or J.K. Rowling, or Susan Collins. Like I don't have to compete with Hunger Games on Kickstarter. And I would only need a couple of hundred people to win big in direct sales. Like you only
Mm-hmm.
need a couple hundred people to win big on direct sales. I'm going to say it a third time. You only need a couple hundred people to win really big on direct sales. And if you can make $5,000 on 10 offers a year, that's 50 grand. Now you don't get to keep 50 grand because you have to run, but like if you could, we try and show you how to make a 50%, 25 to 50% profit margin. So you theoretically could make 30 grand. Like
Right.
that's the average of like, that's almost the average salary of a human being in this country
In the
from
US.
doing, yeah, for doing books, from like doing your writing. That does require like, actually packing books and such, but there's just so much more. And on top of that, if you have a back catalog, there's so many more ways to win in direct sales and on Kickstarter than there are on Amazon. Like I was shocked for years that people just like abandoned their backlist. People with 50 books, and they were like, I don't even deal with any of these books anymore. And I'm like, what? But that is like, I have sold the same book on my table for 10 years and they still sell. Like Ichabod sells almost as well now as it did 10 years ago when it came out. And that's just because you consistently bring in new people to your ecosystem. And so, you know, uh, you do a Valentine's Day sale and you highlight your romance books, and then you do like a thriller sale and you highlight your thriller books, or like you do a package of X and Y and Z. And the long and the short of it is like there's just so many more ways to win than most authors can even imagine right now, because 90% of them are in KU, and and 8% of those that aren't are only in wide and fiction apps maybe, but and then so you have 2% of them that are even exploring direct sales, and most of them aren't even exploring offers. They're exploring using a Shopify store or something like that. So like the amount of winning that you could have by being at the beginning of this trend instead of in the middle or at the end is enormous.
Yeah,
And
it's like crazy.
yeah, and on top of that, all of the things that we teach you are relevant to Amazon sales, like how to think about writing a blurb. You will improve your blurbs.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Working,
you will
yeah.
improve how you look at covers by taking these courses. You will improve your packaging. You will improve how you write. You'll improve all of those things because it gives you a more holistic view of the field. And we started with Kickstarter because it was very specific. But like our goal is to give you an overview of the field so that you can go out and say, how can I exploit Amazon, Kobo, all of these places and direct sales consistently?
Yeah, I wanted to say something about that because you reminded me. So, like, one of the things that is always said in the Y community versus the KU community is KU community, you have to pour money into ads, which is pretty much the truth on Amazon because it has become pay to play at this point because there's only a certain percentage of people who can win, and like all of those people are doing ads, and like more, like even more people than that are doing ads. So on the wide retailers, a lot of people essentially say like, oh, you don't have to do ads, you can just do promotions. And what it really is that you are using a lot more email marketing on the wide storefronts. And so even if it's not your own email list that you're building, though like often wide authors do need like larger email lists to make it work. But even if it's not your own email list you're building, you are co-opting other email lists within the industry. Like it's not the promotion part that is the that is like getting you as much like it's not just the promotion part. It's also the fact that these companies have built these email lists that they know how to sell to. Like they're using internet marketing. And so like lots of wide authors are like, well, great, like like this promo list stopped working, or like, like what would wide authors do if like BookBub stopped working, for example, or stop being effective, which, BookBub, like everything gets less effective over time. And it comes down to like email marketing, like as wide authors, you got to do email marketing to fill in the gaps that Amazon like would normally cover for you. So it really is like direct sales in many ways. Like you just have the product page on the retailer. But like for most authors who are wide, if they learn direct sales, they could apply it to Kobo, and that alone, like it doesn't have to be like use all these promo sites and have discounts all the time. You could just apply like this direct sales stuff to the Kobo retailer, for example, and your book sales, like you could probably like hit the top, like you could probably be like one of the top sellers in the store, or at least in your genre, from doing that, because like nobody in wide really understands that like it's just email marketing. And that's yeah, that's a little diatribe, but I just think like everything that we're going to teach in this, I mean, you could use it to do books, but you can also use it to like eventually sell like yoga mats or like really anything. Like it just works to sell anything, and we're applying it to books.
Yes, but On the other hand, like we are taking all of these things and showing you how to use them for books. Like that is the end of the day, the difference. Like we have taken a lot of of these courses, and then we have to do the translation work ourselves. So like we're doing the translation work for you already. We're showing you how to use them in books and in courses and all of the ways that you would have to do them. At least that's the goal of both things. But the Kickstarter is such a powerful first step because it's free to use. You can use it 10 times and continue to build up your skills and writing a sales page for free with Kickstarter's algorithm helping you, never spending $1 on advertising. And then in a year, probably not a year if you're doing 10 campaigns, but in however long, you then have access to the direct sales accelerator as well, as you can learn. And while you're learning with the direct sales stuff, it's helping the Kickstarter stuff as well. It's like a virtuous circle where all of these three things that we're doing are helping each other. So if anyone has any other questions, Monica and I have been railing about this stuff for a long time. I don't see any new questions coming through. So
I feel like everyone was just like, okay, like we're done now. But yeah, I mean, we're over, like way over time as well. So yeah, if you have any questions, let us know. Otherwise, well, do you want to talk about the Kickstarter accelerator and go through some stuff on it? Or?
Yeah, let's go through it one more time. Let me pull it up.
I can do it too.
Oh yeah, let's do that if you already have it up.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, so here's the Kickstarter accelerator. The Kickstarter accelerator is our course that shows you how to do internet marketing through Kickstarter. Really, we are showing you the principles, the bedrock principles that work across industries, how to manipulate them for the accelerator to work with publishing and work on Kickstarter, and then helping you through group mentorship, like make this something you can continue to exploit over and over again in the future, and bring a repeatable process. You can come back to Kickstarter 4 or 5 times a year, and then also integrate that into your overall sales process for other things. I've raised $400,000 on Kickstarter. We've watched the group raise $800,000 as of this morning. Over $800,000. Monica herself has raised $60,000 following this system, and then adding
$65,000. Yeah,
$65,000, 2 campaigns
in the last less than a year. So like I am actually like Russell's very best student by the numbers. So. His protege.
I mean, we know it works,
but yeah, it's just funny that it's like Russell is, Russell's probably, by the numbers, he's probably had the most success this year on Kickstarter, and then I think I'm like number 2 by the numbers. So. But it makes sense because we're running a program. But I just think it's funny that I was able. He was able to get me like to that level very quickly, basically. So if you want to like I would just listen to him and be kind of like a star student in the program, and you can build very quickly.
I mean, remember the average, and most people are launching fiction projects. Very few people are launching nonfiction in our group. The average project raises over $4,600 like in our program right now. So I don't know, do you want to learn from not just the 2 of us, but also from a group of other creatives who average about $5,000 when they launch a campaign? Do you want to learn a new system? And I heard yesterday someone talking about it's one more thing. It's one more thing that I have to do. But I would reframe that to say, this is the one thing. Like, this is the one thing you have to do. Like, to unlock the other things, wide, direct sales, selling on your website, selling, like, to me, I believe to us, Kickstarter is like the best introduction to being direct and taking control of your own career. And then you can use what you on Kickstarter with a infusion of cash to pay off this course, or to reinvest in ads, or to buy tech to do direct sales or something other than that. But to us, this is the one thing. Like, if you have to learn one thing, like, this is what I would tell you, especially if you've been on websites for a while and not optimizing, or like you're not making the money that you want to. Like, this is the thing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I agree. It's not the platform. It's really just like the best sandbox, the best training ground, to learn how to do direct sales. Because it's so focused. It's just it's not like Kickstarter itself is like, it's not the platform itself that is the future of publishing. It's the strategy that it teaches you that is the future of publishing. Is kind of how I think of it. So like, if you're like, I don't get like why they're so all in on Kickstarter. It's not like first of all, we do both actually love Kickstarter, but like it's not the platform itself. It's really that the platform just kind of forces you to learn all these like very foundational pieces of sales and marketing that you can then take to everything else. And it gives you just enough boundaries to like the platform itself, like all the psychological triggers and mechanisms, it's just enough boundaries to like keep you from like facing essentially like a very blank slate, which is what direct sales is. And like the blanker your slate, the more you have room to just go completely off the rails, which I think is what ends up happening. Versus like a retailer, which is like, there are so many boundaries at a retailer. So like you're very like disadvantaged because you can barely do anything. And like at Kickstarter, it's kind of this in between space where we think it's really, it's a really good place to learn.
Absolutely. And so if you agree, if we have convinced you, then like, this is the program for you. If you can't afford the program, we have a book. We have a podcast called Kickstart Your Book Sales. We have a book called Get Your Book Selling on Kickstarter. But like, we think we think direct sales is the future. And the other reason why I go all in on this instead of, let's say, Substack or Patreon, is because Kickstarter is so close to how people already buy books. Most people don't subscribe to buy books. Like, they see a cool book and they go out and they pre-order it or they buy it. And so this is in a very similar fashion. They're buying one product or a suite of products. And then once that is over, the transaction is done. Now you can then take that and move it to Patreon. And maybe you will have a very successful Patreon because you're popular on Wattpad, but that the functionality of Patreon is vastly different than the functionality of buying a book on Amazon. Kickstarter is very similar to buying a book on Amazon. So most people will make, let's say, $1,000 on Kickstarter, but like, they won't even come close to making that in a year on Patreon, because you have to make almost $100 a month. And like, most people are pulling in way less than $100 a month, and they're working way harder for that amount of money, because now you have expectations across every single month that people have to continue doing. So this is not against Substack. This is not against Patreon. This is not against subscriptions or fiction apps or any of that stuff. Just like, I'm not saying you should not go learn from any of the amazing people who teach Facebook ads or Amazon ads or strategy for Amazon. What I am saying is, if you are playing the Amazon game and you're not winning, or even if you are winning, but especially if you're not winning, what tends to happen is you say, I'm a failure, I'm a bad writer, my books are bad. When in reality, like, there's a very small chance that's happening, especially if you get it edited and all of that stuff. And like, you get a professional cover artist and you know how to write, like, if you're doing the functions properly, there's a very small chance that your book is bad. there's a very large chance that the system you're using does not work for you. And we are here to show you a different system that works for 98, that is more likely to work for the other 98% of people that are not winning on Amazon or who want to expand outside of Amazon. Because I think if I were to leave Amazon, I would be thinking about getting that cash infusion of Amazon money quickly. Wide sales are not quick. Like, they're consistent, but they are not quick. Kickstarter funds, you can set up a campaign while you're in KU. You can do all of the thing. You can say, thanks, I'm not in KU anymore. Launch your Kickstarter campaign, make an average of $5,000, and use that $5,000 to start expanding out from Kickstarter into all of the other platforms, if that is your choice. But, and I don't know if that is your choice, but if you are wide, I don't know, Monica, you deal a lot more with wide people than me. Like, that seems to be the hardest thing. Like, how am I'm not making the money I need as fast as I need to.
I mean, I think the thing with, so I have a lot of opinions on that. So, but I mean, yeah, I don't think it has to be slow. I think a lot of the ways in which people go about it are very slow. But I don't think it has to be slow. Like I was saying earlier, really, if somebody who's really good at email marketing, for example, and like list building goes wide, like it could be very fast, because you know how to sell a book. So like, you know, Russell, for you, like I know you're planning to go wide with your series. Like I think that you would master wide retailers very quickly, because it really is, it's direct sales with a little bit more help than Kickstarter, basically.
Right.
Because it's like, the problem is that we all start with Amazon, and Amazon does, so, Amazon is like, it's really like our parent almost. Whereas direct sales is like, you grew up and you're living in your own apartment, and like now you got to take out the trash yourself and wash the dishes yourself and do your laundry yourself, and like before your parent was doing it all for you. So like if you start very independently with direct sales and then you work your way backwards through like Kickstarter and then wide and then Amazon, well, you're gonna kill it on Amazon, because like you already, like, how to do the marketing. And then Amazon also markets for you, and then it's like you would explode. Like it's just, and we start with Kickstarter because that's just, I think that's like kind of, again, like that middle ground, where there are enough boundaries to where you're not like, I don't know, like getting in a car crash at like 2 a.m. on like speed or something.
Well, yeah, part of it is also like you get the money in 2 weeks after you need it.
Yeah,
like
2 weeks
after the campaign ends instead of 60 days after the month ends. So like you're also getting them, like you are physically getting the money quicker, at least a month quicker than you would from a retailer. So like even if you kill it that first month wide, if you do a Kickstarter as well, you have money to last you the 2 months until you get your first big payment from wide as well. So like we think that, so like we will have a direct sales accelerator that you can buy by itself. Like it will be a thing that exists. You can buy our wide thing by itself. Like you can buy the Kickstarter accelerator by itself. But like we believe that all of it locks together, and we believe that if you're going to start right now, like Kickstarter is the best thing for you.
Yes.
Because it's the best way to make more money from less people and be able to finance the rest of your career and start thinking about your launches in a more holistic way. That is, again, I have to say this for the 1900th time, like this is not against anyone who is in KU. This is not against anyone who teaches those strategies. It's just those strategies work for some people and not for all people. Like they work for some people better. And we think that this is a strategy that can work for people in KU also, but can work for a whole segment of people who write amazing books, but like the Kickstarter, they don't write in the 3 genres that like that Amazon really loves, or 5 genres that Amazon really loves. or they're not, or they're not one of the top 20 authors in that genre that
in their
Amazon
genre,
really
yeah.
loves. And or they've fallen out of that genre. Or they
Right,
need more.
the top, yeah.
Yeah, the top ones that are really making like the all-star bonuses, or like just the really steady people
Which,
that,
yeah, which those all-star bonuses are pretty much gone.
yeah.
It's very little bonus at this point. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that, but they've switched it to titles. Well, anyway, that's very boring. But yeah, no, I agree with. I think we're so like this, like we plan to do something totally different during this Q&A, um, where we didn't like expect to talk about like to get into like all of this stuff that's like kind of like foundational mindset stuff of our entire business. Really is what this ended up being. We were gonna talk more about like myths around Kickstarter, but we kind of went on to, yeah, like I don't know if it's a tangent, but it's not really a tangent. It's really like the core foundation of like our thinking and our values and our mindset around
Yeah,
this.
and there's one question that I do want to first bring up before we end
Yeah, yeah,
this, which is the idea that like all of this stuff is like 7 full-time jobs.
yeah.
And I've talked about this in previous live streams, and like one of the things I'm proudest of in our company is that neither of us work enough hours to be considered full-time. Like we both work about 30 hours a week, and we both get a chance. I'm going to Paris for 2 weeks in at the end of the month, and then I'm going on a safari next year. And like I haven't written a book in like 2 months, and you know we do a lot of stuff, but like this doesn't have to be a full-time job. Like it doesn't have to be a 80-hour-a-week job. It can be something that fits into your life. And if like if nothing, you get away with nothing else from this, it's like our goal is to make this author business work for you instead of you working for Amazon or the companies you're working for. Like that is what we really, 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 really want to impart to you. And if you think that's cool, like then it really is less about the like the course and more about, are we the people that you want to learn from? And I do think that this Q&A was really important just to show you kind of who we are. And we're very happy to answer questions. Just haven't
Yeah,
seen any
we
in,
are happy.
in like 20 minutes.
We're happy to answer questions, but yeah, we've kind of like these are the things that we talk about kind of behind the scenes, I think, and we maybe give these little, you know, we kind of have like this little like list of spiels that we have started giving to try to like impart some of this mindset into the community and like try to like bring like because I think the way we think about things is so different right now than where the community is at. And so we sound like almost like crazy people talking about it, but like we're very sane and we like, I mean, you know, the other thing is like we do think that this is the future of publishing, and we like the people who like get it, they're you know they're seeing a lot of success in like this kind of new, you know, I don't even want to say new world. It's not that the retailers will not be awesome still for that 10%, like kind of this revolving 10% of people who hit the top of the list. Like, and we want you to keep doing the retailer stuff too. But this is like the second, so it's like you have like this whole stream of retailer sales, and this is the other half of it. The other half of your business is like the direct sales, the on demand promotions that you can do, like where you can control more of the, I guess, the trajectory of your business. And so we want you to build this in tandem, like stay on the retailers, do your thing on the retailers, but we want you to build this in tandem and learn this in tandem because it'll make you better on the retailers. And same
Yeah.
with same way that the retailers will make you better at direct sales too.
Yeah, it's not an either or. It's a yes and
It's a yes
yeah,
and the and so like the direct sales piece has not really come into play yet in the indie space for so long. You know, it's like it's like you think that you look on the horizon and you think that there's like a tower, but actually there are two towers. So you're seeing the second tower now, or like the second tower is kind of like possible now because readers are just more open.
Yeah.
Basically, is really what it comes down to. Like readers are finally ready to buy direct when it comes to the book space.
Well, and the unfortunate thing is, like, we're not wrong, and we know we're not wrong
I
because
almost said that, but
we've seen, like, it's happened before. Like
right, like
this
everywhere.
happened 10 years ago with the music, or 15 years ago with the
Mm-hmm.
music industry, happened 10 years ago with the film industry. It happened 5 years ago with the nonfiction book industry.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's, you know,
Yeah,
um, it's like history is continually repeating itself. It's continuing
right.
and like it will happen with fiction,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to be prepared. Like, we have the ability to prepare for it and say when that happens, we are going to be the ones who quote unquote win because we're prepared when people want to go direct. We already know how to run the ads and do all the things and use the Kickstarter and use the Patreons and all of that stuff. Um, uh, and I can tell you we're not against Patreon because Monica's writing a book about Patreon too. So like it's a thing that like we're in all of these spaces.
Yeah.
So like but you can still go buy you can still go to Amazon Video and like buy like a movie, but like so that's not going to go away. It's just going to vastly change for the creator economy. Like the creator economy is going to change
Right.
in a way that we can't predict. And if you want to think here very quickly, my opinion on like AI art is going to make direct sales even more important because people are going to say, I want to buy from a human. And like the one thing that AI art can't do is like be a human. It can't physically be a human. Like it just can't do that. So like once that becomes a thing that floods books and floods movies and floods TV and floods art world and floods everywhere else, like people are going to start saying, well, how do I have a relationship with a human even more than they are now? I know I didn't talk to Monica about that, but that's my feeling. My feeling is
No,
direct
that's
sales is going to be more
yeah.
important as time goes on because of all of these other things that are happening.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah. Anyway, so we've now talked for a very long time without questions. So I'm going
I
to,
feel like we're done.
yeah, we're done. We've allowed a lot of time for questions. So thank you so much for coming. And we will be sending a replay link again if you missed any part of this and you're still listening. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Go to kickstartyournovel.com/buy if you would like to learn more about the Kickstarter Accelerator or the Direct Sales Accelerator. And
What she said.
we're doing it. We're closing it on September 5th.
Which is Monday. Like we are
That's
closing it.
Monday. Yeah.
I can promise you we're closing it because we've done it twice before. Like we are closing the cart. Like it will not be available. If you email us on Tuesday, we're going to say, I'm sorry, you have to wait for November because we have to have time to onboard these new people.
Yeah. And it'll be more money.
Yes. And it will be more money on the 6th.
Yeah.
Even if I let you in on the 6th, we're charging you $1,000, $200 more.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.